Hey guys, welcome back
guys.
to Any Thoughts. So today, as you can see here, we're going to talk about pets.
Yep.
And if you've watched this channel at all ever, or if you haven't, welcome. Make sure you like and subscribe and comment and all that good stuff. But if you've watched this channel, you know we do a lot of Sims. Well, some exciting news came out yesterday.
What was it?
So, the long-awaited, drumroll please, Sims 4 Pets. Although
it's not pets.
it's not
though.
pets. It's, what is it, Becca?
Cats and dogs. They're not done.
So, it's going to come out in November.
Yep.
So
November
that's exciting.
10th?
November 10th, yep.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. And what's exciting about it is there's going to be all sorts of customization for dogs and cats, and guess what else? Foxes.
What?
Yeah, I know, right?
I hadn't heard about that.
Yeah, there's
That's
going to be
pretty cool.
foxes in there. So what we're not getting with this is the horses and the birds and the turtles and the various other small pets that you had in Sims 3
Other
Pets.
than fish and frogs, because those have already been implemented.
Right, fish and
into the
frogs,
game.
those are already in the game.
So if you hadn't noticed that, they are there.
So, talking about pets, Becca.
Yeah. We are going to talk about fostering. So, Dan, what is the definition of fostering?
Well, per Merriam-Webster, I don't know. However, according to Dan,
Okay.
according to Dan,
According to Wikidania,
at Wikidania, fostering is where you take care of babies that aren't actually your babies, whether it's human babies or animal babies,
gotcha.
or maybe even car babies.
I've never.
Car
That's going to
babies?
be a new thing, probably
Car
now,
babies.
since you
Hey.
said that.
Look, this is just, I'm just putting this out there. Jay Leno, if you've got some cars that you need to have fostered, I'm sure I can take a couple
for
off of your
goodness sakes.
hands. You know, like a Cobra or a Mustang or something like that.
He just wants to play with it.
Yeah, I just want to drive it around a little, take care of it. Obviously, you know that's the definition
point of
of
fostering.
fostering. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you know,
Anyway,
I'll return it in good condition.
Getting off of Jay Leno,
Oh,
because
okay.
apparently this is not a car episode. Okay, like we said, we're talking about fostering. In our case, we haven't fostered any children, human children, but we have fostered some pet babies, some fur babies. And we have a couple of tips, because I hear a lot of people say that they don't have time, they don't have space,
Yep.
they just don't really want to put in the effort to do fostering.
So Becca has a list that we're gonna kind of go down
Because
to keep us on track.
Because now we have been fostering for 4 months.
4 months.
So
I think the first thing we're going to talk about is what, Becca?
becoming a foster, what is kind of required?
So So I think, in my opinion, the first thing you need to kind of determine when you decide you want to become a foster, if you decide you want to become a foster,
Of a person or
or pets, but this more applies to pets,
right?
Is like what kind of person
Okay.
you are that you want, basically. Or
Do you like shedding?
Yeah. Are you comfortable with that? But more so than that is, are you a dog person
Or a cat,
or a cat person,
or a rabbit person,
rabbit,
ferret,
horse,
whatever.
Because so the three that I know about that you can foster is cats, dogs, and horses. I guarantee you can
do
foster
with
anything else.
Rabbits and stuff,
Rabbits, you know, sheep, whatever, cows. I'm sure.
Never heard of foster your sheep.
I'm sure you can foster anything.
That's funny.
However, we're going to kind of drill this down a little more specific to
Dogs and
to
cats,
us
probably.
for dogs and cats, because
Okay.
that's going to apply to more people.
Gotcha.
So you got to determine whether you're a dog person or a cat person.
So with that, if you're like, what do you mean? That means like, with breeds are a little different. Like, you know, poodles and Yorkies don't shed. They actually have hair, not fur. So, like I said, with the shedding, because I'm covered in fur thanks to her, But cats are the same way. They shed. Or do you have allergies? Do your kids have allergies? Is everybody in the house okay with you having the animal?
Mm-hmm.
That's a big thing because you can't bring a foster home without giving permission. Because here's the next thing. You have to find a rescue. So you can either go to your local animal shelter or there are plenty of places around that you can actually go to and
that like customize.
Yeah.
Sort of, so to speak. It's not I don't know if I'd call it customized, but they're specific in what they do. Like it's a horse shelter or a dog shelter.
Like the one
shelter.
we do is for cats. We work with a cat shelter. But anyway, so you have to find the rescue. Then you have to decide, not only do you have to make sure that everybody is okay with having the animal in the house, nobody has allergies, that kind of thing, because they make you write all this stuff down. You have to make sure that your animals are all current with their vaccinations, with their rabies and everything like that, because they do check. And sometimes they will actually do a home visit. So if your house is not up to par, your yard's not up to par for dogs, you're probably not going to be able to foster. Having space and time. The reason we are actually out here and not in that room is because why?
Space. Because we have 2 of our foster kittens are in there right now. They just had surgery. So they're recovering from that, and that's basically become our area where we keep the fosters. So we kind of lost our filming room.
Yeah, that's why we're out here.
So that's why we're in our living room right now, filming in a corner. And hopefully the audio is not too crazy.
Yeah. So you also have to have items for fostering. If it's a dog, you need like puppy pads and food and stuff like that. If it's a cat, it's more complicated. You need a litter box, litter, specific foods, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. You also need toys. You need a bed. Or if, like, the best thing if you don't actually want to go out and buy a really cheap pet bed, old blankets are amazing. And if you don't want to foster but you want to help out an animal shelter, take your old blankets to an animal shelter. They will thank you.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Also, something that's kind of cool for, like, say you're going to foster dogs. I don't know if this would really be a good thing for cats necessarily.
Okay.
But I've seen pet beds made out of, you take some old clothes, stuff them in like a pillowcase, or you take like a sheet and sew up the sheet, you know, and then stuff it full of your old clothes basically, and that's a pet bed.
Now what a lot of people don't know is this last option, then we'll move on. There is something called, we call it a pet tent. I'm not really sure. Is that what it's actually called? Is a pet tent? Okay. Pet tent. It basically is for either dogs or cats. It's like mesh, and it has like a waterproof deal on the bottom. It's all zipped together. It has a top and a bottom. It comes in different sizes. It's great for puppies. Not so great for older dogs like her, because they will chew their way out of it if you're not careful. But puppies and kittens, it's fine.
She's too smart.
But anyway, so next thing is vet visits.
Yep.
You are going to be in the vet office a lot. You're not going to, when you're a foster, you don't pay for it.
I wouldn't.
With this organization.
Yeah, I wouldn't guarantee that. The one we work with, they cover all of the vet expenses. Now,
and sometimes they'll give you food and cat litter and stuff like that.
So you can look around and check, local organizations and
to see what they supply.
If they, what they supply, what they cover, and basically this is a good way. Realistically, the way I look at it is, fostering is a good way to figure out what kind of pet maybe you want as your permanent pet.
Yeah.
It's kind of like almost like a,
because you're not adopting for keeps,
trial thing,
Yeah.
Not really, because you're still taking care of it and you're still treating it like your own, but. Okay,
so the next thing on here is playtime. Do I have at least a little bit of time to, socialize the animal? Because that's really important, especially when it comes to adoption. The less socialized an animal is, the less likely the chance they're going to be adopted by anybody.
Yeah, because if there's a cat for adoption, say, and it just cowers over in a corner in a crate
and hisses at everybody,
that cat's probably not going to get adopted out.
And if a dog growls at everybody or just sits in a corner and sits there like this and won't look at you, then they're probably going to be.
So in our house, when we foster, we have 2 cats that are actually our cats and 2 dogs that are our dogs.
Yeah.
So we have a variety there, and then we expose these kittens, slowly. You don't just,
very slowly.
You don't just throw them in there,
right.
But we eventually expose these new kittens to other cats besides them, and then to dogs. So that way they get kind of a range of experience. So that way, eventually,
when they go to
a home, they can get along with cats and dogs, and hopefully people, obviously.
Okay, next thing is cleaning up after them.
Yeah.
Because whether you have puppies or cats, they always make a mess.
They're going to make a mess.
Yeah, I mean, whether you have puppy pads somewhere, they're going to probably chew those up, or you have newspaper on the floor, you might chew that up.
Yep.
It's going to be shredded, make a mess. Cat litter is going to go flying everywhere. If you have cats, food's going to go flying everywhere. Yeah, so they might pee outside the box.
Yeah, so you want to make sure you pick a good area, too, where you can put them. And you either have, like, some kind of thing down where they won't mess up your floor.
Which is why the pet tent is an amazing thing.
Yeah, pet tent.
Because it's waterproof.
The one we have, the floor in it is waterproof, so it's awesome.
Also has pockets you can put treats and stuff in the side.
Yeah, they can spill stuff in it, and it's fine. They can mess in it. It's fine. So.
Next thing is income.
Yeah.
Now, this is back to what we were saying before about whether the shelter will provide it or not. Or your organization or whatever. Some organizations will provide food, cat litter, cat boxes, puppy pads, blah, blah, blah. They'll provide everything for you. And then they'll pay for the vet visits as you go along. But you have to use their specific vet. If you go to another vet, you're going to pay out of pocket for it. Which is why most people like us who would love to do it from another organization out of state, we can't do it.
Yep.
So, that kind of thing is really important when you're coming into it because some of the stuff we actually do have to buy out of pocket. So if you can't afford that, then this is probably not a good idea. Just check with the organization first before you get into it and sign up for it. Now, I'm going to let you talk about this next one, vet visits.
So, so more specific on the vet visits. So you got to kind of, there's a couple things that I really want to hit on. Number one is, obviously, when you foster, say, puppies or kitties, or, if you foster, we'll get into the older cats and dogs, but when you foster puppies and kittens, the thing that you're going to have to think about is at some point in the process, they're going to need to be spayed or neutered, and they're going to have to get all of their shots.
Three rounds of shots.
3 rounds of shots. I think maybe puppies, it's only 2. I can't remember. It's been a while since I've had puppies. It might be 3 still for puppies, too. But it's several rounds of shots. Let's just go with that.
And it's like every month. Every month or 2.
So,
like
and then the other thing that you got to think about is illnesses. So we've had several things. We've had
upper respiratory infections.
Yeah, upper respiratory infection.
Ringworm,
and what was the other one?
Well, we had bottle babies.
Oh yeah,
and those I had like 2 to 3 week old bottle babies, and they were like tiny.
Yeah, they were little.
And they would just, they had like some sort of infection through their system.
We don't know what it was. They ended up being fine now.
Yeah, they're fine. They live. They're good.
Yeah. But, and then the last thing I want to talk about is, like, say, with older cats and dogs, their immune systems are up to par, so you don't have to worry about a whole lot of illness and stuff, and they've had all their shots, and, they're probably hopefully spayed and neutered by that point. So a lot of what you're going to have to worry about when you're fostering older animals that are grown is more of like worst case scenario things, such as choking. A cat gets its collar stuck and is choking.
That happens when they're kittens too.
Well, I know, but choking on a piece of food or they get in somewhere where they're not supposed to be and they get stuck because they're not used to being there.
Blood in the urine.
Well,
that kind of stuff.
That's probably an illness.
Well, that's worst case scenario, though.
But
that can get bad really quick.
But the other thing that I'm thinking of is like with dogs, like say they're out in the yard, they get bit by a snake.
Yeah.
They get stung by a bee or a wasp or whatever.
What am I going to do?
Yeah. So being prepared for that kind of stuff, knowing what to do, like, hey, my dog got stung by a bee.
Yep.
Let me go get some cold water and baking soda, mix that up real quick and rub it on there. Knowing stuff like that
natural herbs and stuff. Because that's the other thing, is because while you can go to a certain vet during the day, sometimes they don't actually cover emergency clinics. So you have to pay for that out of pocket. Okay, so adoption days. Mm-hmm. This is when cats and dogs turn about 8-9 weeks old.
Yep.
And then they have to go to an adoption event. We've all seen those, the dogs and cats in the cages, and everybody's poking at them and wanting to hold them. Okay, so what we've learned from the couple of adoption events that we've had are these 3 things, and then we'll go through them. We have to have time to take them, number one, to each event, and then you have to pick them up if you have to drop them off, or you just stay the whole time, which is like, what, 4 hours, 5 hours?
Yeah.
So you have to have time for that. You have to show them off. It's always good if you're the foster to be there, so you can give all the information that you have on your animal to make them more compatible. Especially if they're like the cats that we've raised. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying the fact that we expose them to both adult cats and dogs. That's a great tip to tell somebody, especially if they walk in with their dog and the cat's ears perk up and they're like, "Oh, something to play with." Well, that's great. While the other cats are cowering in the corner, the one that's more susceptible to be okay with the dogs, that's the cat you want if you're getting a cat. The last one is names count. Mm-hmm. So you want to... Ow! Miku's scratching me.
So you don't want to have like weird, crazy names that are just like, this cat's name is Burgatruce. And you're like, no, that's a terrible name for a cat. Like... Who wants to adopt a cat named Burgatruce? Like, that's not even...
Even a dog.
Yeah.
Or a rabbit. It doesn't matter. They're like, "Oh, it's so cute." I've seen this so many times. They're like, "Oh, it's so cute. Oh, it's so cute and fluffy. I want to take it out and I want to love it and I want to pet." What's its name? Burgatruce. Next.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding.
Whereas you're like, "Oh, it's so cute and fluffy. What's its name?"
Fluffy.
You're like, "Fluffy."
Oh, that's cute.
Cute and fluffy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
So, I mean, sometimes that doesn't always happen, but especially with kids, that does happen because they'll be turned off by the name.
We've had a couple of our first fosters actually were named after like Toy Story characters.
Yep. Buzz, Woody, and Rex.
That went over big with
the kids loved it. Especially they'd come running over. "Where's Buzz Lightyear?" So cute. But names do count, even though when you adopt them out, you can rename them.
Right.
So the last thing that I put on here is how to not foster fail. And what does that mean, Dan?
Being able to let go.
Yeah.
Because you're going to spend a lot of time and energy.
Devote a lot of care.
And some money into, raising basically a pet that's not going to be your pet.
Yep.
In the long run.
Yep.
So
we've got a couple of tips, actually just 2, unless you have anything else, to keep in mind. This is what we did. You set a time/age that if they're not adopted at that time, you return them to the shelter if they're puppies or whatever. Mm-hmm. But that can work with adults too, because if you get too attached, you're going to keep it. Mm-hmm. So,
and you're gonna end up being that crazy cat lady or the
crazy dog person,
weird dog guy.
Yeah. And then the second thing is telling yourself over and over, "It's not my pet," because if you start calling it your baby, most likely you're gonna have to start having attachment issues. Mm-hmm. So, you have anything else?
I think that pretty much sums it up.
All right, so if you guys have any questions, comments, or anything, leave them down in the description box below.
Well, not in the description box.
I'm sorry.
But leave your comments down below. It's been a while since we've recorded one of these, obviously. So leave us your comments down below. Be sure to, subscribe to check out more.
Yeah, if you like us.
And
if you would like some more information, let us know. I might be able to find some links to send you guys to some actual
Right.
more detailed websites. So just let me know.
And we'll see you guys next time.
Bye. Say bye-bye, Miku.